People feel the need to form them for various reasons. One of the main reasons in this area is out of redundancy. The most famous example of that is in Consett, where some of the steel workers have managed to form themselves into Consett Community Enterprises. They've been going now for about a year and a half, and they're slowly building up their market, and they are now employing about 23 people. So they're a good example of rescuing at least some of the jobs out of a mass redundancy situation. We certainly can't claim to be able to rescue all the workers in a redundancy situation, but there may very well be a business there which we can rescue and set it up as a co-op.
I'll go and do the sewing on the van rails. Okay. Consett Cooperative Enterprises was formed out of 10 people who were on the action committee to save Consett Works, which eventually, after a long and hard battle with the British Steel Corporation, closed in September 1980. We continued meeting on a friendly basis just to keep in contact with each other for quite some time after that. And then we came up with the idea of forming a workers' cooperative, mainly because we didn't want to work for other people again. We wanted to try and control our own destiny. And that was the reason that the co-op was formed. It wasn't quite as easy as that because it took us some time to get registered and, you know, looking for information and all that sort of thing. Again, we registered as a workers' cooperative, but unlike the majority, we had nothing to do. Then we had to look for a product to make or, you know, a service to provide. We met with all sorts of people from all walks of life and received advice, some good, some bad, some indifferent. And a chap came along to us with some ideas, one of which was the muck stoppers, and we decided that it seemed a feasible idea. We looked at the market potential for it, and we found that the potential was there. So initially we decided to manufacture the muck stoppers. They're going fairly well, mostly on the commercial side. We have some other products which are coming along now. The liners for commercial vehicles, the interior liners to protect the insides of vans, and also a new type of ladder caddy, we call it, for the top of a vehicle to support and carry ladders. When we first started, there was none of us really knew very much about workers' cooperatives. But having registered and looked at the rules, regulations, etc., my personal feelings are that they're good from the point of view that you entirely control your own destiny. It's got to be, I think, a particular type of person, because you've obviously got to work with others and you've got to work closely. Unlike a normal sort of company where you'd have one man at the top saying, you do this, you do that, then you've got to decide, you know, 10 people have to decide on that. That's perhaps where it becomes a little bit difficult, because obviously with 10 people, you have 10 entirely different opinions, and you've just got to accept a consensus and a majority opinion. Up till now, it's worked very well. Obviously, we've had arguments. Who doesn't, you know, but we overcome those and we carry on.
Later formed a cooperative, hoping to create new jobs in the town. Well, they've been working at it for months now, and today opened a new information centre. As Diane Knowles now reports, they've also gone into business, offering jobs to former colleagues.
It may have taken the Consett Cooperative 2 years, but in that time they've set up a demolition company, gone into the motor trade, and today opened their own information centre. In all, they're now employing 32 men and women. Production staff at the 2 factories where they're manufacturing rust guards designed by a former steelworker, and at the information centre itself, where full-time advisors are available to help with any kind of problem, personal as well as professional. In addition to all that, the Consett Cooperative has formed a demolition company, bidding for business from its new headquarters. The new centre is just a few hundred yards from the site of the closed steelworks, and ironically, the first and only contract the cooperative has is to pull down some of the buildings there. But that's meant that John Lee and his colleagues have been able to employ 24 men who started work in March and are likely to be working on the project until at least December.
It is a bit ironic, but I think we've got to be pragmatic about the situation, and we felt that There's no production work going on down there. There's no work in connection with production, so let's have whatever work is going. And the work is in demolition, so there we are.
It must have been a great feeling for you to get this contract. I know you're employing 24 men. What sort of things would you like to happen over the next year?
Well, we'd like to see ourselves make a success of that contract, obviously, and hopefully make some cash out of it. And the cash that we do make out of that contract will come back to the co-op, and we'll develop other projects from there. That'll give us the sort of financial stability that we need to develop other projects.
So are you hoping in the next few years to provide employment on a substantial basis in the town?
That certainly is. It was our initial aim, and we obviously hope to go on from there. And the success of this contract in the works, the success of our factories at Blackhill, will depend on how far we can develop that objective.
At present, the information centre is financed by a charitable trust, but the cooperative hopes that very soon it will be running it from its own profits.
The answer to some unemployment problems in Consett, because the Consett Cooperative Enterprise Group consists of 10 ex-steel workers who have pooled their redundancy money to try and provide new jobs and new morale in Consett. And their muck stopper making factory was on display today.
This device, known by the unglamorous name of muck stopper, is the first product made by Consett Cooperative Enterprises. Today, the muck stopper factory was revealed as part of the official opening of the cooperative's new offices and advice centre, and visiting dignitaries learned how a muck stopper works.
They're very pliable, they're easy to fit, they just fit in and go into the vehicle. It'll only take half an hour to 3/4 of an hour to fit them to your actual vehicle.
Now, you hope to be drawing a wage from this enterprise within the next month or two. Do you think there's really going to be a market for the muck stopper?
I think there is. We're getting a good response from the public, and we are doing commercial vehicles, and we're getting a good response from every people that we contact.
Then it was on to the new advice centre, staffed by an ex-steel worker and opened by Professor Grigor McClelland. The 10 redundant shop floor steelworkers in the cooperative obtained a grant from the Roundtree Trust to help adapt the centre from a near-derelict house. Now it offers the answers to this sort of all-too-common problem.
I'm shortly coming to the end of my unemployment benefit period. Could you please give me some advice on social security?
Yes, Stephen, as you know, the unemployment benefit lasts for 312 days in a year, which is virtually a year, less the Sundays.
We believed, and we said in the closure of the works, that problems weren't in the closure of the works, it was afterwards, 15 months or 18 months afterwards. And we believe now that the courses are coming to an end, and the unemployment benefits coming to an end. This is when the problems start. And we hopefully, this centre will be used for them people.
Now, one of your original aims was to try and actually create jobs. Are you going to be able to do that, or is the centre just a passive advice-giving thing?
That again, hopefully, the development part of the information centre came second. But what we're saying now we're involved, we have a group of chaps involved down in the works on demolition. What comes after development, demolition is development. And hopefully we can get involved with the development.
The cooperative hopes the advice centre will boost the town's morale. Then maybe other groups can help produce something like the muck stopper.
Decline of the North East over the last few years, it has to be the closure of the Consett Steelworks in County Durham. Since the plant shut down 2 years ago with a loss of 4,000 jobs, we've reported often on the impact on that community and upon efforts to attract new industry into the area. Well, now the town has set up links with the Lorraine area of France, which suffered similar problems when steel mills there closed down. Today, a party representing the French steelworkers arrived at Consett, and Tenny Baker was there for Look North.
The appropriate setting for today's reception was Consett Technical College, which since the steelworks closed has given a great deal of help to those who lost their jobs. College staff have organised courses for more than 1,200 former steelworkers and helped in the setting up of a workers' cooperative, which now produces car accessories and has been assisting with the demolition of the works. Lecturers also helped organising a sort of unofficial twinning with the French steel-producing area of Lorraine, which has also suffered closures. 40,000 jobs have been lost there over the last 10 years. But what value have the French and English steelworkers found in sharing their experiences?
Et qui sont similaires en Lorraine et en Angleterre ici à Consett.
I think it's a great joy for us to have the possibility to come and meet people of the region and to share the problems which burden us all, but also to search together for solutions for our own regions.
Brian, from the point of view of the people in Consett, what value do you think there is in having this kind of liaison with the French people?
I think the most important thing is that ordinary people from different parts of Europe can get together and discuss ideas, come to terms with unemployment by discussing what's happening in the various regions of the common market. It's not simply enough that governments get together, it's essential that the ordinary common people get together and work things out for themselves.
Have there been any practical benefits so far, sharing your experiences?
It's difficult to try and put that into words. It's more connected with feelings that you get in trying to work together. Also, the difficult part is finance to continue relationships between areas. You know, it's a difficult problem.